a tremendous amount of plants to repot. House plant collection has kind of taken like a side. You know, it's a yeah. So we're gonna repot some plants, and I also, you probably saw from the thumbnail and the title, but whoa, I wasn't expecting it this early. Madam President has taken her eternal presidential snooze. I thought I'd tell y'all what, the story, I guess, whilst repotting plants. But I'm now thinking perhaps this wasn't a good idea. Perhaps this wasn't top 3. Oh, but I'm strong and I can do this. Yeah. Oh my, it's been a brutal year, y'all. Before I kind of get into all of it, we're gonna get started with repotting plants. So that I can give you like the soil and stuff I use, and what kind of, you'll get a rundown of the technique a little bit before, in case you want to skip the story. There's probably gonna be crying. If you're not down to cry, I know a lot of y'all, the tubes has not, like YouTube, y'all haven't been updated yet. But I've updated y'all in our lives recently. I'm starting off with this euphorbia. So I will try to have in the description, if you want to skip the sad story, if your little heart can't take it right now, I understand. Okay. I will have in the description about when we kind of segue off of this story, or I'll have in the description, you know what, this whole video was just a story. I don't really know how it's gonna go. I might chat about this for 20 minutes, for 40 minutes. The cicadas outside are absolutely crazy. Does the buzzing bother you? Well, that's too damn bad. We're gonna start by repotting this euphorbia. I think this is the best pot for it because it's got, if these little owl ears weren't here, this thing would be like this. And then it would be splicing all the plants next to it. So we can't have that. Okay, it already splices itself. Ouch. Anyway, this was in like a tiny little pot, you can see. But I just popped it out of there, and now we're going to fill, we're gonna do this. I have down here, let me show you what's going on. I've got my soil mixer. This is black gold with repti bark. It's like the reptile bark you get at the grocery store. Black gold organic soil, potting soil. I also have some leca bits. Oh, 2 less now. I've got some leca bits just because I had a big bag of leca because I was experimenting with it and I ended up not really liking it. So I just mixed it into my soil, and I really like, it's really good for aeration. So this is the last of the leca I have, but that's okay too because I right now have been underwater. But anyway, that's what this soil mix is, and that's what most of my collection is in. However, this time around, this is what I got. I want to try this one again. I tried this like 6 years ago, and I don't think I liked it. A lot's changed in the 6 years, both in me and my knowledge of plant care, and potentially the formula of this pot and soil. I don't know. Maybe I just got a bad bag last time. But the soils was everywhere. You know, the soil's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in the air. It's in the soil. No, anyway. I see the soil everywhere. And to be honest, the colors of the bag, Fox Farm does have the prettiest bags out there. And I'd be lying if it didn't draw me in every time, even though I didn't really like it before. But we'll see. I am not going to mix this new one up, though, until I get a little bit farther down on this soil, or at least until I start potting less plants that like drier soil. And then I also got, sorry, this is probably so loud, it's right by the mic. Then I also got this organic orchid mix to mix in with it instead of the Repotting bark, because I did not want to go to the pet store for maybe obvious reasons. So I'm gonna try it. I think it'll be great anyways. This has a lot of really good things in there that the Repotting bark didn't have. So I think it's gonna be better anyway. What all do we have here? A blend of bark, perlite, horticultural charcoal, and yucca extract, specially formulated for growing orchids. It helps improve drainage and aeration so that the roots can grow and orchids can thrive. But I think mixed into this other soil, I have a feeling my plants are maybe gonna like it. Maybe that's just me being hopeful. Anyway, I haven't done, I just saw how long we've been filming, and we gotta get into this, fellas. We gotta get into this. So, this is a euphorbia. Now, I love me some euphorbia. A euphorbia is not a cacti. It does like to be watered more than a cacti, and also, you know how in winter you're not really supposed to water your cacti? You're still supposed to water your euphorbia, so. Alright, is it time to get into this biz? I do believe it's time to get into this biz. So, I don't even know where to start, y'all. I guess I'll just start at where things started getting wild at the beginning of this year. But then I also want to give you like kind of the Fiona story, like how I came to adopt her and everything. So, yeah. So, it's not quite right. It all started last fall. And Fiona, by the way, Fiona is my dog. Madam President, our live community on TikTok calls her Madam President because she's our president, of course. That's still a little bit too tall. Last fall. I don't know where to start, y'all. I guess that's what, yeah, I guess we're starting there, okay? Last fall, she started getting some weird skin things. Like, it was like flaky and red, and we had noticed it right after one of her grooming appointments, so we kind of figured maybe she had like a reaction to the soap or something, even though we use like we have them like do the hypoallergenic soap and all that biz. So that's kind of what we assumed at first. And then she had like one of her vet appointments, and I brought it up, and the vet was like, she had like a checkup. The vet was like, oh, I'm not worried about it. And I was like, okay, but I am. That's why I brought it up. You know? And a few months go by, and by then her like so much of the hair on her back had gone like orange. Like Fiona is just a completely white dog, and her hair went orange like golden. She's a golden doodle, by the way. Her hair started going orange like golden retriever color orange. And her skin infection thing was like still going on, and I made like another separate appointment for her skin, and it didn't really sit right with me. The vet said like a few different things, which kind of just confused me more, but she was like, oh, you know, when you're a teenager and you need like something extra for your acne. And then she like showed me what kind of like product. It was like a foam to use like on her skin. But then she also said, she's like, and I was like, but like her hair's like, she's just completely changed color in the past couple months. She's like, oh, you know, when you're old and you go gray. Like Fiona was just reaching the point where she'd like her very first senior appointment was gonna be coming up in a couple months at this point. So she was like reaching that point, but I'm also like, but do you go gray in like 2 months? And also, is she a teenager that needs something for her acne, or is she an old lady and is she going gray? Like, I'm confused. Nothing of it, and it didn't really sit right with me, especially since, you know, I know golden doodles like have skin problems and they're prone to that, but she hadn't had anything prior to this. She's also, by the way, either 9 years and 6 months old at this point, or 10 years and 6 months old. When I adopted her, they were thinking she was between 2 or 3. So that's, you know, that's the timeline there. So that appointment ended. She sent me home with like a list of products I could try, and I tried like the mousse product, you know, that she said would help with it. Which, yeah, it helps the topical thing, but still, when such a big skin change like that happens in such a short amount of time, it's like that to me didn't sit right as like something that didn't have some kind of underlying, like some reason to it, you know? Anyway, a couple months go by from her skin appointment, and she gets really, really sick. She doesn't want to eat. She's very, very lethargic. And after like a day and a half of her not eating, make a vet appointment, because it was like during the weekend, and we just like made an appointment with her primary vet again. So I went in for that, and she looked out like I wasn't sure what was going on, you know. Anyway, she was all good except she had really low platelets. So the vet started her on a really high dose of steroids and antibiotics, because there were a few things like they were thinking, you know, maybe it's something tick-borne, even though we did do a tick-borne illness test, although I think that like counts, I don't know, the immune reaction or something, and at that point it wouldn't have been in her system long enough for her to build up like the antibodies for that test to be positive, even if she was. We did some more like blood work, and we kind of went over other options we can do like in the future too, to like so she can get home and get on her antibiotics and her steroids. So that's what we did, and I have a box here that's like my trash box. I didn't just toss it on the ground. I'm trying to think like how detailed do you want this? I don't know. Maybe you don't even. Maybe no one's here. Just kidding. Anyway, what a cutie euphorbia. Let me get started on my next plant before I like kind of get more into, you know, into it all, so that I got something to distract me. Which plant are we doing next? So I have a lot. Look at this. Are we gonna do this one next? I think so. This is a philodendron pink princess, and she's so cute. This plant has been on, like, I've been wanting this plant since, like, I think 2019. So I am so hyped to have and look, I really liked the like color of the stems with this pot. I already, with most of these plants, I already kind of went and wiped down their leaves with my neem oil concoction, just for some pest control, some pest management, and also to like dust off like some of the leaves have like watermarks and stuff. Okay, let's get into it. So she is being treated for, you know, the ITP, which is like where your platelets are being destroyed. She's being treated for that for a couple weeks, and we didn't know if it was like immune mediated or from a tick-borne illness. She at this point has had several different tick panel tests, and they've all come back negative. All of her like immune mediated markers came back negative too. They did like a sample. Let's see how these look. With that last one, I didn't really break up the root ball because it didn't feel too, like, I think it's not gonna have too hard of a time kind of adventuring out into the rest of that pot. It kind of just depends on what the plant is planted in, you know, and the condition of the roots and all that biz. Oh, they look good. Dry but good. This repot is definitely needed for this one. Okay. I got this from like a local nursery, and I don't, like, I trust that local nursery's soil. But I think that they're gonna like, well, I kind of want to get this other mixed up into here first, actually. Let's start that. So we've basically been running a lot of tests this past month and a half. She'd been in and out of vets a lot, like sometimes every other day, you know, or yeah. So we saw throughout this a couple different, you know, and this is just how it is because there are so many pets that need help, you know. But our vet office, you would see like a different vet every time, even just being in like the same, her her primary clinic. After a couple weeks on the steroids, so the steroids like helped her eat. It brought her appetite back, and they also like gave her anti-nausea stuff that first time we brought her in, and some fluids. But the first like couple weeks on the steroid, I just like completely noticed like her change, you know what I mean? Like physically, she did like have a little bit of behavior change too, just like she's more food motivated, which is like a normal thing for being on the steroids. But her, like all her muscle just left. It was complete, and she was a muscular girl. Like before, every time she'd have a vet visit, they're like, oh, her muscles look so good. Like, what nice muscles you have. But within a couple weeks on steroids, like all her muscles were just gone, and she was just a little fragile little Fiona. And she also, within those 2 weeks, had a really hard time getting up on her own, and she eventually just couldn't get up on her own. This mix has like, let's put a little more. So we would help her up, and we were really, at this point, really concerned about, like it seemed like most of her things that were affecting her at that point were from the steroids, like just effects of being on the steroids, like the muscle wasting. That's something that's really common, especially with bigger dogs. So we started to taper the steroids like at a really slow pace. You know, you have to be really careful about tapering steroids, but they were also doing it at such a slow pace, and we were like kind of worried, like slower than what is even recommended, that we were just worried like if she has to be on this for this long, like she's just like completely wasting away on this, is like what we thought. And yeah, so anyway, we're tapering the steroids. We also, there were so many times where we were like, oh my goodness, she's getting better. Whew. Oh. And oh my goodness, she's worse. We need to go to the emergency vet right now, you know what I mean? She's seen several different vets at this point, a bunch of different vets at her primary vet, and several different like vets at different kingdoms, I don't know. So we've had like several different opinions about things. One of them was like, oh my gosh, that dose of steroids she was started on was huge. Like we got that every other vet other than her primary was like, okay, first off, at doses this big, like this is not surprising. And so this part is like, one of the things I regret is like, or I don't know about regret, like we really tried our best, but we were also so frustrated, like with just some of the different things that, you know, some I don't want to get into the details of it all because, you know, it happened how it happened, and like at the end of the day, everyone did their best and tried the best with their knowledge and their equipment to help Fiona out, you know. And even if like things were done different, like there are definitely some things that our primary vet told us to do that were like, oh my gosh, we're definitely not doing that. And then we would go to like a different vet and they'd be like, yeah, definitely don't do that. So there were like definitely things that we just didn't do because we knew that would be something that would just make it worse or make something else pop up. So anyway, with all of this, like, Kyle and I were really frustrated, you know? We're seeing, even just at our primary, like, we've seen so many different vets at our primary now that not everyone has, like, the full story. Not everyone knows what Fiona even looked like 2 weeks ago, you know what I mean? Like, there were several times where we brought her and we're like, oh my, her muscle wasting is so bad, she can't get up, she can hardly walk. We had to like hold her to get her anywhere because it got to a point where she was just stumbling and falling. And we'd bring her in for that, and she's just a little skin and bone at this point, and they're like, muscles look fair, like, moderate muscle wasting, or just muscles in the back look a little bit, you know what I mean, like, but it was so bad and such a huge change from her just a couple weeks prior. So anyway, there were just a lot of things that really made us frustrated, and we like felt like we weren't being heard for a lot of her appointments. So I just hope that I really tried to like keep it a calm environment for her, but I really hope that our frustration didn't stress her out, or like she didn't feel that was towards her at all, you know. But I really tried to not let anger suck away the last like moments we had with her, you know. I really tried to not make it about that, but it was also really hard because up until the very end, we still don't even know for sure what she had. But up until the very end, we didn't know, like, is this something she's gonna recover from? Is it not? So we were, like, really fighting to get answers, and I know everything happened how it did, just how it was meant to, but I also wish, like, if I knew that what she had, like, she wasn't gonna be recovering from, I would have just made it a super relaxing last month and a half for her. I would have filled it with all her favorite things instead of all her least favorite vet visits and being poked and prodded without her mommy. I would have given her literally any snack she wanted. I would have given her any snack she wanted. At the end, her last like week, she had intestinal bleeding from the steroids. We have to get to repotting. Hold up. Give me a moment. Realize this is probably gonna look so much better with this light off. Whoops. Anyway, oh my goodness, y'all. So the last week, she had to be on a really strict diet for her GI bleeding. So couldn't give her any special snacks. Her last week and she didn't get any special snacks. We did actually, one of the times, it just didn't listen. We gave her cheese because it was the only thing that made her wag all day. Was some cheese, yo. So we gave her cheese, and I wish I gave her that whole damn block of cheese. All for her last week, you know. brutal. Ugh. Anyway, let me just dance out a little bit. Get a little jig. Okay. Whew. I don't care about crying on the internet, obviously. And out of all my reasons to cry, up until this past bit, I'm looking back and I'm like, I don't think any reason I cried before was even a good reason. No. You don't need a good reason to cry. If you feel like you gotta cry, you gotta cry. Okay? You gotta let that out. Anyway, I really wanted to I gotta finish telling the story. Anyway, so those are like a couple things I regret. But if she was gonna recover, she couldn't have all those extra snackies, you know what I mean? With her guts the way they were. And we didn't know she wasn't gonna recover until the last day. Okay, so anyway, all this going on, we know that we need like extra people looking into this, so we make an appointment, or we like get a referral for some an internal medicine vet to look at her and look over her case, obviously they're way booked out, like even before their estimate with our like urgent vet referral, like was like, we can maybe see her in September or October. Was it? But we're like, okay, but I don't think we're gonna have a dog in September or October. But they ended up being able to get us in even earlier. Like, they had some cancellations and stuff. Cancellations, Anyway, so, the day before her last, that night, it was like her second day with this harness Kyle had got her, because at this point she couldn't get up when she was walking. We literally had to like have our hands under her ribs for like every step, because she'd fall or slide, and at this point she doesn't like have any muscle to keep all her, like her legs would go in weird spots. So we had to like be really careful she didn't hurt herself when she fell, But Kyle had ordered her a harness that had like a handle at her like shoulders and her hip, and that made going out with her so much easier too, and like we're so much more confident. And I think she maybe felt that too, because she wanted to like go for a walk, like she wanted to go across the street, go to the park. And we're like, girl, you haven't walked 5 feet without tumbling in the past 4 days. We're not doing that, you know what I mean? So we went like a little bit, like not very far, just kind of like down the lane a little, and we're like, okay, well, we have to go in. If you're feeling like this tomorrow, we can maybe attempt the park walk. And oh my god. And at that point, we're also feeling good, because, our Fiona looked like she was feeling better. She wanted to go for a walk. We're like, okay, we got this. Oh my god, if that was the last time, if I knew that was the last time she could walk at all, I would have definitely brought her to that park. Are you kidding me? I told Kyle I regretted that too, but he was like, yo, she could have tumbled and really hurt herself. Like, that's true, she could have tumbled and really hurt herself on that walk. Like, it was the right choice if we were like aiming towards recovery. But then the next morning, we went out. I took her out at 6 a.m. She wanted to go out, go potty. Came back in with her, and there's some mosquitoes swarming around the And I don't like that. Oh, you can't have my juice. Get out of here. Man, this is, we've got 2 plants repotted, not even yet. Anyway, she had really bad ataxia by 9, so at 6 we went out, she was good. By 9, I was like trying to give her medication. She would not take it. Excuse me, Skeeto. No. I'm the only delicious thing in the room though, so you're gonna stay around here. Anyway, so she couldn't walk. You know, I would, at this point we would have to, the past like 2 weeks, we'd have to like sit her up to get her to drink water and for her food and like eating and stuff. We'd have to like push her up, sit her up, hold her up, and then, you know. And so I tried to like push her up to give her medication to get her to eat it, and she was like, I noticed she was like exceptionally floppy, like something felt a little different, and she would not eat her food or her like little medication balls. It was like a white canned fish meat with like this dog gravy stuff on it. She really liked it before today. So anyway, not today, but you know, today. And I was like, oh, maybe like you gotta go outside or something. So I started to try and get her up with I got the harness all clipped on her, and I tried to get her up, and I noticed she was like, when she was walking, she was like going a little crazy with it. And we had like looked up ataxia in dogs just a couple weeks prior because one of her medications can cause it, and we were like kind of worried about it. So I knew like exactly what it was when I saw it, and I texted Kyle. She couldn't walk, so we laid back down. I sat her up to drink some water. She was drinking water, but she was like, it was bad. Kyle rushed home, and he got her up in the car. He carried her in there, and we went to the emergency like 24/7 vet that also they had the internal medicine that we were scheduled to see that same day. We started heading in like earlier than our appointment because we were pretty much getting in to see like the emergency staff at that point, but we ended up seeing the internal medicine there anyway. Like we got in at the top. Yeah, anyway, so they were like planning to hospitalize her and run some more tests on her. And up until this point, I had really been like kind of against hospitalization because one, like, she's really nervous and she's adopted, and so she's got like attachment anxiety, you know what I mean? Like, which like maybe it's just me actually, you know. But she gets kind of, I don't know, she's got anxiety, and when we're not there, she's, you know, and especially being at the vet, like before, she's so sick to a point where like she couldn't like freak out to the extent like she would prior, but let's see, I might need to do like a new steak situation here. But anyway, I had just been kind of against it because I was like, okay, we can, you know, there were a lot of nights where we both wouldn't sleep or I wouldn't sleep because I'd be changing like a cold compress on her, like when she had fever and stuff. And I just like stay up all night and lay there with her and pet her, because there were like a couple nights like she was like so sick and not feeling well that I don't think she even slept ever. Anytime I looked at her, she was just like looking around real scared, or like, you know, like just like not at ease, you know. So anyway, they're gonna hospitalize her that night and run a few more tests before, you know, the night came around. And one of the tests they were doing, well, when we brought her there and we first talked to the internal medicine, they hadn't like assessed her ataxia, which is like what we brought her in for that day, which I get it, like maybe he was just like assessing like his previous files, like as if the ataxia didn't just like show up that morning, you know. So he didn't like try and have her like get up and like see how she was moving and stuff. So, and that to us was just like, oh my gosh, like this is like really going down right now, you know what I mean? Like we when we were bringing her in that last day, we were pretty sure that was the last day, you know. Let's grab another plant. She looks absolutely stunning. Where are we gonna put you in the meantime? So anyway, we signed the paperwork to have her hospitalized and all that biz, and we go home in the meantime because like, you know, she's in the back, we can't sit with her anyway at this point. So we go home in the meantime, like while they run the rest of the tests they're gonna run for the day, and they were gonna get back to us after, and they're gonna run some more x-rays and have a neurologist look at her, like have the neurologist do like physical exam to like figure out, because they were thinking like, well, maybe, you know, right now she has a lot of reasons to have a stroke with all the different medications she's on and the state she's in, so it could have been a stroke. So they were having a neurologist look to see like if it was like, what's it called, multifocal cerebral like damage or something like that. Like I don't know if it's like if you have a stroke it's like just here, but like if you got other things it's like all, I don't know. Anyway, we go home for like a couple hours while they're running the rest of those tests, because Kyle actually is going to Germany for a cool work thing. But he has like a presentation to get together, so he's like, that's his last deadline to get his like his stuff all turned in and all that biz. So in the middle of all this, he has to do like this really big important work thing, and I just felt so bad, you know. But it was also, this was brutal, y'all. Anyway, so we go home so that he can get that done, because he's got like a couple hours till the deadline. And he's working on it for like an hour and a half or so. Let me find my new plant I'm gonna repot. Let's do this one. Oh, actually, let's do this one. I've had this one for a while. Well, around Christmas time, Kyle got this for me. Look how cute. And this is the longest lasting Norfolk Island pine in my collection so far. And I think it's because this was from a local nursery. And before I'd always like get my big ones at the big box store, and I think the soil was just better. You know, the big box store ones, the soil, I feel like it's meant to just like kill them just before the next seasonal time, you know what I mean? So, and that's my bad. Like, I need to repot them. And the past two of them, I've known that I need to repot them before the bad things happen. But I didn't, so that's on me. But I think the only reason this one is alive is because it's got like better soil or something. But they need repotted because I can't keep them you know, they need their little upgrade. They need their reward for being the final remaining Norfolk Island pine. No, I love this plant though. This is definitely one of my favorites, and most plants, if I don't love them, first off, I usually just get a plant if I really love it. But if I don't, like if it just gives me a hard time and like, you know, it's bittersweet. Look at those roots. Sometimes I just like will not try that plant again, but I will always try Norfolk. I love this plant so much. Let's keep this pot. There we go. So, where were we? I got a call from the vet, and they're like, hey, so her x-rays look fine. Like, her breathing kind of sounded off, so they wanted to do x-rays in her lung and make sure there wasn't any, you know. And they're like, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. However, the neurologist like had a look at her, and they were like, it's very concerning. It's multifocal, so it's all throughout her spine. So it's less likely to be a seizure. So and they were basically like talking like this late in the game, like this prognosis is not, you know what I mean? Because at this point, with this final symptom, and with the internal medicine looking at it finally, and realizing like, you know, this like really, the timeline of everything, it really makes sense that this is like lymphoma, you know. And at that point I was at, like that final stage, you know, yeah. So they're basically just talking about like it's too late in the game to be finding this out, you know. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Like, wow, that is freaking. Whew. I had felt it coming. Even just like and I knew like, you know, things were not looking good for the last bit. Like, yeah, everything seemed to escalate so quickly. And there would be ups and downs, but like on the downs it was really like, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to like make a decision? I just so it was, I knew it was there, and like when they couldn't get her to pee because she like obviously couldn't get in the posture while she's being hospitalized. Hold up, I need to go get like a tissue of sorts. After they give us that news, I'm like, okay, I guess we need to schedule the euthanasia, you know. Like, do you have time for us today. And they did, and that was the day before Kyle was going to Germany. Like he was, you know, getting everything ready before. And it's just crazy how it all happened, like, that day. Like, so Kyle was there too. Like, if it had happened a day later, like, you know, the day before he left, she had that night where she was, like, doing good, and then the next day, like, all of a sudden, that would have been really rough to not have him there. And to have to, you know, do that without him. And yeah, anyway. Because Kyle loves a Fiona too, you know? And Fiona loves a Kyle. And I'm glad that, you know, it didn't happen while he was gone, but wow, brutal. And I'm sure that's been, like, hard on him. Actively, he's still in Germany. I don't know when you're gonna be seeing this. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to edit this. I was hoping to be able to edit this today, but we'll see. Look how freaking cute. Are you kidding me? So cute. Please don't die. And look, I thrifted these little saucers. Well, they're plates, but they look so cute with all my pots. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Look at that combination. That's too cute. So, we're gonna put you right here, and we're gonna swap you on the call. We schedule the euthanasia appointment, and Kyle has like an hour left to get his thing turned in, and he's like still working on finishing it. So we have to schedule it just, you know, an hour later from the call. And they wanted to give her some, we really liked this internal medicine guy. We felt like out of all the vets, like, we finally saw someone who really listened to us, because before it seemed like everyone just had like they see this, they do this, like they have a routine, and like I get that, but also like so many times like we brought things up that we just felt like we didn't really get heard or like really considered, or like they really listened to us a lot of the time. Like, especially for, you know, lymphoma is the number one like cause of death in golden doodles, and that wasn't more of a concern. And also that her very first symptom, and I brought this up multiple times throughout this whole month and a half of testing, like, you know, just a couple months ago I brought her in for this skin concern, like, could that have anything to do with this? Because everything just seemed to like really quickly happen right after this occurred, and it just really didn't get thought about. Like, they're like, oh, I'm not concerned about it, or they just kind of like brushed that off. But I brought it up multiple times, and also that being like the first symptom of the number one killer in the breed that's like in front of you, like, what? And even if you don't put that together, like, if the owner is concerned enough to continuously bring that up, like, shouldn't that be considered a bit? I don't know. Anyway, so I have this plant here that's we're going to be repotting. It is a cacti. I don't know if it's like an apple cacti or what. I don't really know, but I love the curves on this one. And I actually got this at Trader Joe's, and this is the second one of these I've gotten, because much like the I didn't repot it. I had too much faith in the soil. Don't have too much faith in the Trader Joe's soil, okay? Just like the big box store soil they have their seasonal plants in. If it's seasonal, and like all Trader Joe's plants are seasonal. Okay. let's see here. I'm going to, this is like a very like spongy, like it's mostly just like a cocoa core. So I'm gonna kind of dump it all out in this trash box I got over here. So, oh, wow, your roots. Oh my goodness. Wait, let me show you. Wow. Definitely have some dry, like they definitely need, but wow. Oh, yo. Oh my god. Anyway. Okay. I'm repotting this right back into the same, well, shoot. Yeah, I'm repotting this into the same pot. I'm just getting rid of the soil and getting our good soil mix in there for it, you know? For it. Yeets. So, Kyle gets his stuff finished and turned in. Oh, oof. Anyway, we get in there. Oh, I was telling you, I'm sorry, this is so everywhere. So they want to give her this drug that'll like help her calm down and relax because they couldn't get her to pee. Her bladder was huge and they couldn't get her to pee because she couldn't like get in the position, you know? So she just wouldn't do it. She is entirely too good of a girl. She could have definitely been 400 times more naughty and I would have loved her the same. But she was so good. Oh, what? I'm the luckiest girl ever. You don't understand. I know people say that about all their dogs. You don't understand. I'm the luckiest girl ever to have had the time I had with her. So anyway, so they wanted to give them, I don't know if I can even say it on here, the drug, but it's like just one that really helps her calm down because they were hoping it was going to help her like relax her muscles so they could get her to pee, but they still couldn't get her to. So that part of the story is important just because when we saw her for the last time, she was very sleepy because the drug, they didn't even know if she was going to be like there, like she might have been asleep, the internal medicine said, so he just wanted to make sure that was okay if he went ahead and did that so that she could relax more, even if she wasn't going to be like awake for the euthanasia, you know, for us seeing her that last time. We're like, yeah, of course, like whatever you think is going to make her more comfortable right now, because he also thought that she was like pretty anxious, which of course, because she was in there without her mom. Anyway, but you can't be in there, you know, they got all their other stuff going on. Anyway, so I think that's like as much as I can get out, but that seems like I don't want to break up a bunch of these roots though, but I'm pretty sure I have to because I think that this is kind of just gonna rot this plant because I can already feel that it's like, even though it's bone dry on the outside, it's like still moist on the inside, and it's been a while since I watered this one, so I just want to let that rot. We'll see how this goes, but we already know how it goes if I don't do this, so we yeah, that is the hardest decision ever. I am so sorry to anyone who had to make that decision, who has to make that decision. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I have to make that decision. I don't want to make that decision, you know, but I gotta. I'm the only one that can, and she needs it, I guess. Holy. And she was that last month and a half, she was really suffering, and we didn't know. We thought maybe she could get better. The vets thought maybe she could get better until that last bit. So we just really didn't know to the end, and we still don't know for sure.
though they did like highly suspect like lymphoma. So this is what I got. I'm just gonna repot it back in the same one. The last regret I had, should I even be talking about these? Because I know, well, this isn't the last one even. So, around like May this year, I was planning on, going back and like staying with my family for like a month, like just like moving my stuff back there. Just like spend more time with them because, you know, I don't get to see them a lot. It's a long drive, and the big thing is like me going back there for so long is because I'd want to drive, because I would want to bring Fiona, because Fiona loved it there. They had like such a beautiful property that she loves to run around on with her best doggy friend, little baby Pea Pants, which is one of my family's dogs. So that would have been the big reason for that, to give her that, you know. But that ended up like kind of falling through. I didn't end up doing it. And like I kind of regret that, you know, because she would have got to spend that month before she got really sick just absolutely going ham sandwich, running around, rolling in elk poop because that was her favorite, chasing squirrels with little baby Pea Pants. She loved it there, yo. And I know she like loves it with us too. And I guess like I know everything happens for a reason. Like also, if we did do that, you know, Kyle wouldn't have been able to go with us because he's like in graduate school and finishing that up. So he would have missed out on her last healthy month, you know? So I guess that is like a, you know, but I also just, I do feel bad that didn't, because I felt deep down, I was like, you know, this might be like her last chance to do that, to go back and visit them. It's like a 50-hour drive. Well, last time we took the drive, the last 2 hours took us 5 hours because we ran into a blizzard. But it's a long drive, so it was like kind of a big commitment. And I also have to like pack up all my Etsy shop stuff, all my life. I pretty much have to like pack up my life and like move it back there for a month. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like that felt like kind of a lot at the time. But I also felt like deeply like for some reason that was gonna be the last chance for that. But then I started thinking, maybe later on in the fall, or maybe next year, we'll be able to do that. Even though like initially I felt deeply like it was that time or not, you know? So I don't know if I would have known, who knows? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Everyone, especially like when it's time for grieving, everyone's got regrets. But I guess I've been trying to look on the side like that. She's Kyle's dog too now, you know? And they love each other. And taking away that last month of her being healthy, like, oof, that would have been rough too, you know? So I don't know. I'm glad we were all together. We got to have a lot of really fun adventures together. So many fun adventures. Okay, now that we've got all that biz out of the way, wait, actually, my final regret, but watch this. I didn't even have to regret. This is, I had ordered her paw print, like, ink taking stuff, and like, so I had it at her appointment. I brought it in, and I asked the internal medicine, you have this paperwork to fill out before, picking out your urn, and like, do you want paw prints in ink or in, like, they have a clay option too. And we didn't do the clay option paw print just because we thought we had the ink one, so it was gonna be fine. But so I asked the internal medicine because he stopped in and talked with us for a bit, just kind of talking about, like, like, whatever questions we had. I asked, like, so was it, what do we think it was, like, at the end here? And that's when we were talking about the lymphoma. Let me get my next plant in queue. Anyway, I asked if it would be, like, would it be best for me to take her paw prints before or after the deed had been done? And he said, usually after is easier, but also I can do, like, the clay paw print too. Did you see that on, like, the thing? And I was like, oh no, it's okay. We brought, like, the ink stuff to do it, and so we have made our decision. Look how cute this combination, this next one is. This is a holiday cacti, and again from Trader Joe's, and again, desperately needs new soul. I'm just gonna put her straight into here, and look how cute this combination is. Oh my gosh, I love these little fruit saucers. So as soon as, like, we, everything went down and we were getting her paw prints, her nosy print, it wasn't working super great, and I was like, oh, I regret not signing off and getting the clay one, and I, like, had been regretted it all up until they called for me to pick up her ashes. I prayed, I was like, please, even though I didn't, so, like, please have them do the paw print anyway. And guess what? I can't show you now because my hands are dirty and she's precious, but they did her paw print. And I think it was because I asked him about that before, and I don't know. I got to be with her for, like, working on 8 years. I adopted her. Hopefully my math's all right now. Every moment was so magical with her and synchronistic up to the very beginning. So the story is gonna start getting a little bit brighter now. What is that? We've been chatting for an hour about that. Ooh, sorry y'all. Anyway, I wanted to update y'all though, because I know she's such a part of our community, and I also wanted to have a place for her story here, and to just, I know a lot of y'all have also been going through it too. Like I said, like, I've been live a bit these past few days, kind of updating y'all, and so many of y'all were picking up your pet's ashes on the same day as me yesterday. Like, there's a lot of us going through the same thing right now, so to me it feels important to share our story, because she's a big part of our story, and she always will be. And y'all are a big part of my story too. Y'all have
and so sweet over in the comments on TikTok towards me and her and Kyle, and just thank y'all so much for all the love. Wow, I think she was mayhaps the most well-liked president to ever exist, to be honest. I have to go get my watering can. Wait, no, I'll just water them all after. Okay. I adopted her January 11th, 2018, and I, like the last year of high school and my first year of college, I was on all the pet finder apps looking for my perfect pup because I knew it was pup time. And I was like on all the pet finder apps for like all the states because I was looking for very particular, like I wanted a larger dog because I really liked going on hikes and walks and stuff, and even though Fiona did not look like, she doesn't have mean dog privilege, really. She doesn't look, she's not too deterrent looking until, like, if you're a man, if you get up to her, she'll growl at you because she doesn't really like men. But, anyway, so I was looking for a bigger dog that didn't shed because I wanted to snuggle this dog so much all the time, whenever I wanted, whenever they wanted. So I really wanted a dog that didn't shed because I also kind of have like a hair phobia. And we had a lab growing up, Chunky. We love Chunky, but he shed so incredibly much. And I know there was times where it's like, oh, I'm just heading out the house and I would love to give you a big snuggle right now, but then I would have to take 45 minutes unhairing myself, So I didn't want, I wanted this dog to get all the snuggles, So those were my 2 requirements. So I was like, had that set for all about the states. And let me get my next plant up in queue. This is our next plant. It is a Sansevieria Moonshine. A lot of these plants I have had for a while, like that Trader Joe's cacti I've had for like a year and a half now. I thought this pot was perfect. I'm really hoping this pot's not like cursed or something. I'm gonna blame it on, I think this is gonna be fine for the snake plant. I think if this pot is potentially cursed, snake plant's perfect because snake plants have like some anti-curse technology or something. Look at that pup growing on there. They didn't have any, oh wow, they needed repotted so bad. And there's soil everywhere. And my vacuum cleaner is like clogged right now. And Kyle's not here, and Kyle normally unclogs it because of what I said before, my hair phobia, my loose hair phobia. So this was not a good time to do this, maybe. Or am I going to be brave? Is some exposure therapy going to be happening? Look. I have to put her picture. Can you see? Y'all can't really see what I'm doing if I put it down here, but I'll spill dirt. Here we go. I'll just do this. So anyway, Fiona's adoption day story. Like I said, I've been looking for dogs, not just at all my local, like, pet shelters, but like I said, all around the states, for 2 years. And then finally one day, and like pretty actively too, like this was not just like it took 2 years because I wasn't actively looking. This was like 2 years of active looking. I find a dog that probably sheds, is not quite as big as what I was thinking, but also they'd look so much fun for foster, up for foster. So I had arranged a meeting with them, with their foster parent that day, and I was waiting for like their call that day with my mom. My mom had come up and visited too, so that she could meet the dog and, you know, help me make that decision if I want to, or, you know, just be there to like give me her input. And so we waited for the call and waited for the call and waited for the call, and we're like, oh dang, she might be showing us up. She might be. So we, while we're waiting, we're like, well, how about we just go to the local shelter again? Just like walk through the dogs, you know? So that's what we did. And walked through all the dogs. They all look so cute, and I wish I could adopt all of them and give them all the love and care they deserve. That was another thing. Like, I did not want to buy a dog, you know what I mean? I wanted to adopt a dog. There are so many dogs out there that need homes and need their people to find them. That, like, that was another, like, no, I am adopting a dog. So anyway, we walked through the local shelter, looked at all the pups. No, my pup wasn't there. And then we were about to leave. My mom started walking out the door, and I was like, wait, I'm gonna go just check the cats just for funsies. Just go look at the cats, maybe give some cats some pets, you know? And my mom was like, I was like, do you want to? And she's like, not really. And I was like, okay, well, I started going back there anyway. And on my way back to the cats, I look in the window of an office. I just like accidentally peek in there, you know, and I see this scared little golden doodle sitting there shaking, eyes as white as saucers, like shaking, just horrified. And I was like, she's like not back with the other dog. She's like in this office. Is she someone's dog here? But also, if she was someone's dog here, I would imagine this dog would be a lot more comfortable here, you know? So I just like, I went around and I asked, I was like, hey, that dog you got back in your office there, what do you know about her? And she was so nervous. She had literally just got brought in. I want to say like potentially like maybe right before we got in the door, like before we pulled up, maybe she got brought in, or while we were back looking at the other dogs, she got brought in and dropped off. Either of the two. We got there at literally the perfect time. They were really trying to decide. They're like, she's entirely too nervous to go back in the kennels with the other dogs. Like, she has to go to a foster home or something tonight. And I was like, well, what do you think about me potentially looking into adopting this dog? And they were like, we were like just kind of figuring out like the foster situation, but let's get back to her. Like, I wanted to meet her, you know? And so they were like talked about it amongst themselves, and they ran out and they were like, you know what, like, if you want to have a slow meetup with her, like, we don't know, we haven't like really tried to get super close to her. If you want to have a slow meetup and it all goes well, like, we could talk about you adopting this dog today. And I was like, well, hell yeah. And that was my first 2 hours at the shelter with Fiona, trying to coax her out of her little shell with soft, stinky cat food and hot dogs. And it was amazing. And I got her to eat some soft, stinky cat food out of my finger and hot dogs. And I brought her home that day.
and it was perfect. Except she did have horrible separation anxiety from her old owners. The first like week and a half, pushing 2 weeks I had her, the only way I could get her to wag, and this is so sad, but like this really shows you like how loyal of a girl like she loves. Yeah. Anyway, that first 2 weeks, the only way I could get her to wag was by like holding or like giving her one of her items from her old owners that her old owners had left her, because she'd smell them and then I get a little tiny wag. She'd smell. It's sad, brutal. That part was real sad, but yeah. After, though, it also took a long time. So Kyle, throughout this me looking for a dog, he was like pretty vocal about how he didn't think it was a good idea, or he didn't think, whatever. But boy, am I glad I did not even give him give that a second thought. You know what I mean? I didn't give listening to him even a second thought, and he's really glad I didn't too. Now, after spending time with Fiona, But yeah, that last year of high school and my first year of college, Kyle had friends and I didn't, so I spent a lot of time alone, and I was really lonely. So I knew I was looking to adopt a best friend, and I adopted the best friend ever, the bestest best friend ever. I even like so many people don't know the extent of luck that came in from me adopting Fiona, like that surrounded that. And even just like outwardly, people are like, you adopted a golden doodle? How did you get that lucky? And I'm like, well, I was searching for her for 2 years, but which is funny because I probably started searching for a dog around when she was born. And this search was an animalistic search. All of a sudden something was like, your best friend. You go find your best friend. You know what I mean? That's just how it was. So she was probably born around when I first was like, it's time to find your best friend. Your best friend's on this planet, which is so cute. Also, not a lot of people who adopt their dogs get to meet the old owners. I know that could go a few ways, but this was the story of how she ended up at the pound. Her old owners were older, and the wife had several seizures. And her first seizure, I guess they really wanted a companion for her that didn't shed, so that the wife at that point couldn't get around really well. So as far as vacuuming and keeping things clean, they wanted someone who didn't shed. So that was how they got Fiona. And eventually the wife had more seizures, and I guess he couldn't take care of Fiona and his wife, which is really sad. And I don't know, maybe she's there seeing Fiona again and all that biz. Anyway, so that's sad. And yeah, he was pretty sad about having to give up Fiona too. But holy am I so eternally grateful to him. I bet that was one of his hardest decisions too. And I bet he didn't see a lot of good in it. Other than Fiona, he wanted Fiona to be able to have someone to go on hikes with and to go out and do things with, because she liked to adventure about, you know? So that was his kind of reasoning there, and, you know, the care. I can't imagine going through, you know, what he's going through. But, anyway, so the valley I lived in had, like, a yearly garage sale where the whole valley, like, everyone was doing their garage sales. And my sister really wanted to do it that year, so, and we had, like, a lot of things to, like, kind of get rid of. We had, like, moved semi-recently, and we just had, like, a bunch of old stuff from our childhood and things. And my parents had stuff, too, so we set up, and I went down and sat our little, like, booth thing with Fiona. Like, our whole family just sat there that day. And this guy pulls up, and he, as soon as he pulls up, I get a vibe, you know what I mean? Like, I see him eyeing Fiona, and I'm like, wouldn't that be obscene? And I'm like, but there's no way. And he comes up to me, and he's like, what's your dog's name? And I was like, oh, this is Fiona. And he's like, I thought that was Fiona. She's got a distinct look about her. And she sees him, and she, like, wags her tail, and is, like, excited but also really cautious, and she goes up to him and sniffs him. And so the first thing I taught Fiona was obviously hugs. Okay, I want a Fiona hug stat every day. I want to hug my Fiona. So I taught Fiona hugs. You know, she hops up, she puts her arms around you, she does her little head, and she's, you know, the first thing she does after she sniffs him is she jumps up to give him a hug. And he was like, Fiona, what has gotten into you? And I was like, we give hugs here. At this house, we give hugs. Anyway, so I got to meet him. He was very sad, like, he was crying seeing her, and he was like, I'll tell mom I saw you and you're doing good. Brutal. That was freaking brutal. But I'm so grateful to them for sharing her with me. I'm so, you know, wow, that's pretty crazy. Okay, next plants I've got to repot. I have to grab, they're, like, over here. I also have a begonia maculata that needs to be repotted. Don't let me forget. I also have some moss jars, some that need to be potted up and, like, resituated. Don't let me forget that either. Although at this point, we've been here crying for an hour and a half, I think. But yeah, let's just grab our next plant. My Legos are falling asleep. Oh my god. Oh no, my knees. Oh no, my knees. Oh no, my knees. Alright, who are we doing next? I might have dirt all over my face, so you're gonna have to deal with that. Okay, listen. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These blooms, there's a couple blooms that need to be chopped. And do you have... Hold up, y'all. I think they might have spider mites. I've been treating plants for spider mites. I need to move this one to the side, actually, because I think it has spider mites. And that makes sense why some of it's looking a little bit questionable. So let me just move this to the side. But I'm torn because the pot it's in is the only pot size I have that fits in this cover pot. Like, I can't plant it directly, it doesn't have drainage, and also I kind of want this more of a cover pot. Like, I wouldn't want to have to put a saucer or something under this. But this pretty much needs to be up potted but the pot it's in is the only one that fits, so this might not be the plant for this. What if I just had one that was a tiny bit, well, no, because that lip, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna figure this out. Maybe I'll just, maybe I'll just plant this all up in sphagnum moss if I have enough. And maybe it would survive. I'll just be careful. We'll see about that. Let me grab the next plant though. This is why I've been putting off this one. This is a Repotting tetrasperma that I got like a year ago, maybe more, and it needed to be repotted a year ago, maybe more. So we're finally getting about that. I actually brought this pot in from outside. Whew, wiped it down with neem oil. Hopefully that'll be enough. I don't really know. Let me just let me grab it saucer hands. I know I was talking about my regrets a lot, and like maybe it didn't, I just felt like I had to get them off my chest, you know? Even though I know everything worked out how it did, how it was meant to, so perfectly, like in the end, like even though it was all still really sad and really hard to go through. I also, like, I got to spend the first, like, year and a half I had her, I think. I don't know my timeline real well. I worked at Target. So I mean, I still got to spend all my time. I was just, like, part-time at Target. I still got to spend all the rest of the time with her. And after that, I had pretty much been like, okay, it's time to work for myself, and have been sorting that all out. So I've gotten to spend like every minute of every day with her. Like, Fiona's my best friend, you know? So I'm really grateful that I got to spend so much time with her. I was always with her. Like, that first year and a half, I hated leaving her at home, and I had to, my coworkers were upset with me and the people in charge, because I had to, like, call out of several shifts from Target, because that first bit of, like, getting used to Fiona and figuring her out, you'd think this would be good information, like, that her old owner could have left, but she's allergic to chicken. That was not on her papers at all. He did not bring that up at all, but that would have been good to know. But she is, in fact, allergic to chicken. And I don't know, maybe she had, like, some stress or something that made her activated some chicken allergy. Maybe she wasn't allergic to chicken with him or something. But trying to figure out what that was, like, she had juicy poop all the time, diarrhea all the time. And it was really hard figuring that out. First off, like, that first, like, 2 weeks, she had diarrhea because she had separation anxiety. And she, like, even gets that. Like, with me now, if I go back and travel or I'm just not here, she'll get juicy poops. But she also just, you know, even after getting used to everything, some things would just give her juicy poop. So anyway, some of my Target peeps in charge were, like, upset at me because I had to be calling out quite a bit, a couple weeks, because Fiona had colitis. And they were like, it was obvious they were upset. And I know, I get it. But also, it's freaking Target. Like, my job at Target, I am not prioritizing over my girl, my queen. Absolutely not. What the heck? So, anyway.
after I quit at Target, which I quit around COVID time, things just got crazy and confusing. After that, I pretty much got to spend every minute of every day with her. And that was just, it's been great. It's been heavenly, you know? So I'm just real lucky. Real lucky. But it does still really hurt. My heart has hurt the most it ever has in this past bit. So I haven't been really careful about like controlling my volume or sticking to a particular volume and I'm sure that these sounds of the pots on the table are really loud. Sorry. But also, if you stuck to this point, thanks for being here and listening. And I know a lot of you are also going through it too, and I'm sending you so much love. Like, that's hard. It's not like people are like, oh yeah, losing pets is so hard. Like, she's my best friend, you know? Ugh. And I'm so grateful, like, also just like for how lonely I was, you know? If I would have had friends, I might not have gotten a dog. Like, if situations were different, I might not have met Fiona, which would be crazy. So I am so grateful for that loneliness I felt too. And that exact situation that led me to looking for her, you know? It really does just show that, like, no matter what, like, part of the cycle you're at, like, it is a cycle and it is tied together somehow with even something that currently hurts. Like, that's something that can, like, some beautiful things in relationships and friendships and experiences can come out of that, and might not have been able to come out of it hadn't you gone through it, you know? So I feel real lucky, but also hurt real bad. But obviously, I think that's as good as that's gonna get. I think I need to, like, shake it and backfill it more, but I think I need water. Oh my gosh, my butt is stuck on the euphorbia, the spiky euphorbia we just rebought. Okay. Wow, that was my life flashed before my eyes there. My butt life. Are we still recording? My screencaster stopped. Yeah, we are still recording. Wow. Okay. I have to go grab my tea. Hold up. I have all of my pots and possible propagation vessels all right here. When I work on something, I'm a squirrel and I make a little nest around me, and that I'm nested in right now. I'm too far gone. I think I should probably, before we continue, switch to my other screencaster and plug this in, because I can see myself filming for 2 hours and not being able to see that it's not recording, and BRB. We need to mix up some more soil here. I just had to take a quick break to charge my screencaster and my phone. Let's mix up some more soil. couldn't remember if I hit record. Okay. Too bad y'all can't see. I'd say I'm doing, because I'm a little suspicious of the sticks in this orchid bark. Like, not too bad, but a little bit. I'm doing like 1/3 of the orchid bark mix to 2/3 that Fox Farm soil. With the Repti bark, I almost pushed like half and half. I did a little bit less than half of the bark to the soil, but since I have become a chronic underwaterer, just a little less chunkiness will probably help me out. Still definitely want chunky so the roots don't compact and rot, but I had to get a bigger pot. I want to put in a heavier planter because, yeah, just want to put it in a heavier planter so it doesn't topple over. So, we're going to start our layer. Whoops. Where do y'all, if you also keep plants, where do you like to get your pots? I love thrifting, but oh my goodness, I find it just like so hard to thrift a pot this size or bigger. I haven't been super good at regularly checking the thrift stores, so I need to get on it. Like, I'm sure that's why. But, okay, let's see. This pot isn't even that much bigger than the pot it's in, so I'm really hoping the roots aren't absolutely crazy in the pot it's in right now. That's what I'm hoping, because this is really just like a little bit deeper. Really just repotting it so that it's in a heavier pot so it doesn't topple over when I put it on the shelf. This is in orchid cacti and night bloomer. It does in fact look like the roots are potentially gonna be crazy. Alright, say a little prayer before. Oh boy, she's stuck in there. Alright. Oh, they're not too bad. Okay. Easy does it. Oh man. Uh-oh. Can't really backfill this at all. Also, it's all touching up on my mic, so sorry if it's making some weird sounds. Really loud or something. Well, I can't really backfill this, so I can't add any soil to the side, so hopefully just that extra bit of soil on the bottom will be okay. I mean, I hope so. She didn't really need to be repotted anyway, so that's gonna be our saving grace, I think. Too bad, at least. Alright, so now I got like a bunch of these little bits. Looks like there's already roots kind of started, so I'm gonna just tuck those in. And then of course, when I'm done repotting, I'm gonna go through and water everyone really well, get them nice and situated in their pots, and backfill some if I need to. After watering, oh, here's another branch. But it looked like, yeah, these ones were already kind of starting roots. So I'm just gonna pop them back in there and then make sure to keep that section of their pot nice and not super wet, but a little moist, you know. All right, we'll try that. Well, this begonia, and this one here. Let's do this one next. And that like moss jar. I think we'll do the mosses last, because I'll just be, you know, rehydrating sphagnum moss. Whoa. guess. I need to find a saucer for this one, but we'll figure that out. This is gonna be just what we're gonna use to cash now, but it's way too small. Okay. I've been I've been going live and hanging out with y'all, and that's been really helping. At first, when everything went down, our families were like, oh, you should go back and visit your family. Or like Kyle went to Germany the day after, and I then technically could have gone with him. But I don't feel my best in between spaces. And especially with something like grieving, I felt like if I went to Germany, I would just pretty much be like, it's a science conference, so I'd pretty much just be in the hotel room all day, which I do not think would be good for me. And then, so then I could have also gone home, visited little baby pea pants and my family, but I think looking little baby pea pants in the eyes right now would be brutal. So I need a little bit between that, you know what I mean? And also, this whole past month and a half, I've been in like such an in-between space. I haven't been able to work a lot, which I don't like. I am so glad I got to spend as much time with Fiona as I did. I'm so thankful that like I work from home, like I get my stuff done from home, so this whole time I've gotten to be with her every moment. But I haven't been able to do any work, and I haven't been able to go live because to go live and to film I need to turn the AC off, and I absolutely did not want it to be like hot and uncomfortable in here for Fiona. So yeah, I've missed y'all a bunch, and I decided to, even though like it meant being alone for like probably one of the hardest times of my life this week, I felt like this was the best option for me because I'm not alone. You know, I get to go live and chat with so many of y'all. I get to be reconnected back to my community, which I felt like I've really missed y'all, and you have really helped me out a lot through all this. So definitely just staying home, finding my place, not, filling my life with too many distractions right now, because like when it's time to grieve, I want to have that time to do that and not distract, and you know what I mean? So anyway, I could have like gone home and been surrounded by family this time, but I did what's best for me, and I think it's what felt right, at least. And I've had lots of time to grieve, lots of time to cry, and lots of time to chill with y'all, and lots of time to think about Fiona. She's already been showing up in my dreams. I can only imagine when she was here, we had the most fun dream adventures too. I can only imagine how they're gonna be now. And we had so much fun, y'all. We went to the woods all the time together. It was a good time. I'm so grateful for everything that just fell in place perfectly so that our lives crossed the way they did. She was the best, silliest girl ever. There's so much slander on the internet towards golden doodles because people, they say this as a bad thing, that golden doodles are like people in dog suits. Why is that a bad thing? It's so hilarious. They're so funny. Oh my goodness. They do definitely have existential dread. Like, they're neurotic for sure. And they are certainly people in dog suits. They know too much. But I think that's amazing. I love that about them. I can't believe that's like a negative people say towards golden doodles. What? They're so silly. Although I do get the anxiety part. Her anxiety, you know, we fed each other anxiety. We're like, yeah, let's taste what I'm having today. Oh, yes, I'll taste your, yes, that is something to be anxious about, isn't it? Yes. But that's alright. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Miss Fiona. Anyway, we have so many toys. We have bins of Fiona toys. I'm of course keeping all her favorites, like her puppets. Are you kidding me? So Fiona played with puppets, and if you have a dog that is like really gentle or shy, like it's not going to be biting your hands really hard or going after strangers' hands after doing this, definitely try, or like with your cat, try playing puppets with them. Let me show you Fiona's favorite puppets when we're done with this. They were her favorite. Oh my goodness. And she was playing like a puppy with her puppets all the way till that last month and a half when she got really sick. So I'm glad she played to the end like that. I know some dogs get like bored or sad or depressed, but she was really, yeah, she had a good time. We had so many amazing adventures together. So many woodsy spots that I would have never went to on my own or felt super safe going on my own that I got to discover with her. She made me feel real safe. And I think she knew that too, you know, she knew that was her job. She took her job so seriously that she had to let the neighbors know every time they walked by that she was on duty, okay? She was on presidential duty. She, even when she was sick, sometimes she'd bark at people going by. Bruh, you're on sick leave. Calm down. You relax. Okay, so let me show you her puppets because they're hilarious and they're her favorite toys. And maybe, you know, if you have a president, you could try puppets with your president. And then, I'm not guaranteeing, I'm probably gonna cry getting these puppets out, I'm not gonna lie. But after that, we'll maybe change the subject to something less tearsome. I need to unnest myself in here. It's getting more and more dangerous stepping out of here. Alright. Ready to see her puppets? She has a couple more. She has a bunny and a flying squirrel. The flying squirrel was her favorite, or her first. Then the bunny was her second. I believe this was her third. Oh, she loved her puppets. They gave her lots of kisses when she was alive too. Well, she was ripping their guts out. They'd give her kisses. My sister got this one for her. My parents got this one for her. Look, it's awesome. And guess what? Guess what? While she was sick, we were going outside at night for her to go potty. I've been wanting to have a possum encounter since I moved here. I love possums. I have only I've only briefly seen possums running away in the distance, briefly. But one night with Fiona, we went out by the trash, and there was a teenager possum waiting there. She had been so sick, and when she just started wagging her tail like crazy, it was like, what is going on? She was sniffing, she was on the prowl, and at the base of the tree, little teenager possum. She went to grab him, because she likes to pick up small animals, like they're her puppies. She went to grab him, and he played dead, of course. And so she was like, it worked. It worked, but she was so excited when we went back in after that, and every single time we went out after that, she had to check that spot. I am so glad we got to have such a fun possum encounter together, such a close one. Oh my goodness, her possum. And then this one's not a puppet, but this was one of her favorite toys. One time I put it up in the windowsill, and she came around the corner and stopped and looked at it because she thought it was a squirrel, and she did her little point. It was so funny. So, those are her faves. We're not getting rid of those, I promise, Fiona. Absolutely not. Although, we have so many toys that she never really touched. Part of it is because she didn't really like them. Another part is because she had so many toys, so they were on the bottom of her bins, and she was really gentle and didn't go through the bins like that. But we would pull them out every now and then and recycle through them. Anyway, she has a lot of toys that were not her faves that we're gonna bring. Actually, y'all will have to let me know. I think you can do this. Bring them to shelters, I was so incredibly blessed and lucky to find Fiona at a shelter, and there's so many dogs out there that I'm sure would absolutely love those toys, and I hope they help them find comfort and peace in that in-between stage of, waiting for their people. So, sorry, Fiona, but we are giving some away. You don't need them now, ma'am. Okay? You got the funnest toys around you now. Alright, let's see here. Plant. Oh, I think we're gonna do this begonia next, which I've been... Actually, should we do these big old... Let's do these big old ones first. Let's do this one, because I'm less convinced this one might... this other one might have spider mites. And I kind of want to save all the plants that may potentially have pests till the end, so we're not contaminating our surfaces and such. While we're going about this, how are we gonna go about this? This might be messy. Hold up. Nope, that's an actual spider web, not a spider bite. Pulse the thorn, we're good. Okay, well, we're just gonna pop this fella out after. There's a couple spiders living on this one. Oh, I hope I don't mess up y'all's days. Also, that looks sus. I'm gonna wipe down these leaves with neem oil. I was gonna do that with you once I got all these potted, but seeing as I imagine at this point of the video we're maybe... Holy, I'm not gonna have a dish big enough for this. Wait, yes I do, hold up. I think I'll probably wipe down leaves with neem oil on my own so that this isn't a 4-hour long video, but we'll see. All this being said, plants have been on the back burner for me, but I've been the past few days really finding a lot of peace and taking care of my plants again, chatting with my plants a bit more. seeing what they need, and discovering infestations of spider mites. So I've been treating a lot of plants as well. Okay, I can't really get too deep with this one because this spot's already got. Alright, spiders, I'm sorry, just hold on for a moment. Don't jump on me. Oh my land. Oh, there's a beetle in there. Sorry, I just wasn't expecting it. And it surprised me, and it is a... Oh my god. Oh, I gotta get this guy outside. Okay. Yikes. Just stay in there, please don't run out of me. Just stay in there, please don't run out of me. The beetle's been extracted. Holy, okay. Whew. Good thing we didn't overreact or anything. Sorry, that was a fast-moving beetle. And I just, was concerned potentially it was a roach. Because this is actually one of the new plants I got within the past few days. Because look how cute. It's a Dracaena. I used to have a lot of Dracaena back in Montana. And some really tall ones that I loved. And this will be, I'm pretty sure, the first Dracaena added back to my collection after the move. I had to sell and get rid of a lot of plants for the move. But so I was worried that was like a roach. And I'm a Montana girly. My heart's not quite used to the roach encounters yet, you know what I'm saying? So, and maybe people who, have grown up with roaches are still not used to the roach encounters, I feel like. Probably, right? I don't know. You tell me, do you have roaches where you live? How do you feel? Anyway, that beetle was not a roach. It's just a fast black beetle. Spooked me. And I got him safely outside. And I hope they're not another one. Okay. Now, y'all can't see it. It's just out of frame. Whoops. All the soil. I gotta make sure I got you still. Well, okay. Let's fill this in. I need like a bigger scoop. Use this. What have y'all been up to? What have y'all been filling your time with? I am really excited to be, like I said, taking care of plants again. I'm really excited to make more plant content too. Yeah. The past several years have been very Fiona focused, and I'm so grateful for that. All my spare time and it's gone to Fiona and adventures with her and Kyle. But now it's time to be more solo, I guess. But not, because I have all y'all now. So I guess we'll be going through this together. Oh my heavens, while all this has been going down, a book I've been waiting for came out by Sarah Beth Durst. She wrote The Spell Shop, and I loved it. And as soon as I finished the spell shop, I was like, please have another one out, please have another one out. But her new one didn't come out for like, it was like a year at that point, so I was like waiting. It came out. I haven't been able, since all this has been going down, I haven't been able to like sit down and really appreciate and read yet. But I'm really excited for the day where I feel like I can do that. Because I'm so excited to read that book. I think it's gonna be so cozy. It's The Enchanted Greenhouse. The spell shop was so cozy, and I'm sure this one is gonna be amazing too. All right, there's that. Let me move this one. What am I gonna do about all this though? Hold up. Do I wanna brush the beetle soil in my soil batch? It didn't look like bad soil. I mean, whatever those green fertilizers are, I'm sure are not organic. But that's okay. I'm just gonna brush them back in. There wasn't like any signs of rot or anything. Just beetle. And it wasn't like the type of beetle that would hurt my plants. Maybe I'll just actually should do this after I completely finish repotting. We gotta get a little. It's a bug. It's that mosquito. Go somewhere else, mosquito. Oh, blood's rank. No, my blood's actually delicious. Except these past few days I've not been eating good, y'all. The sadness has gotten to me. And now I have a bellyache too. So if you're ever really sad and you're like, maybe I'll just eat garbage because I'm so sad, then you'll be sad and have a bellyache. Anyway, I've been like saving up my food dye and sugar intake for the blue raspberry slushies you get at gas stations. Thems are so good, but only a very particular kind, okay? There's a kind that has like bigger chunks of slush. It's pretty much kind of like shaved ice slushy. You want the foamy biz. The real foamy biz. Okay, we're not doing moss stuff yet, but I'm gonna move this. This begonia's been needing to be repotted for a long time too. Man, just that second I let that beetle out, I got chomped on by 18 other mosquitoes. I'm hoping this one is pest free, but I'm probably gonna be doing like a bit of a pest treatment on most of my plants, to be honest, since my plants have been getting neglected for a while. A lot of them got nabbed by the bugs. Wow, wait. Where are your roots, buddy? They're so fine. No, yeah, they're all up in there. They're just really fine. Definitely needed this pot up. I'm just gonna give you a warning in advance. I don't know. I imagine my storage for my phone is getting kind of full, and I might, since we've potted so many plants at this point, or we've been here a while at this point, I might, you know, if my camera just like fills up, the storage fills up, I might just call it there. So if I end abruptly, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and please tell me if you have plants, or if you've been getting into plants, what plants you're fancying, or what plants you've been taking care of, or if you did any repotting or something with me, what plants you repot, or if you like this like type of video. I mean, obviously, like, hopefully our next repotting video I'll have much less heavy news to break to y'all, but I am looking forward to taking care of plants again with y'all. Or if you don't do plant stuff, what are some of your hobbies? What have you been up to? Do you read at all? What have you been reading? Okay. Nice. Like I said, all these plants when I'm done are getting a nice good water. Probably gonna move as many of them to the tub as I can and get them a good water that way. I'm gonna move you for now. I want to put you back in your spot, but you need water, so I am so embarrassed to even show you. Oh, but I'm gonna do it. This plant needed repotted 4 years ago when I got them. This might have even been a 5-year ago plant. This one, actually, I'm gonna go grab my neem oil. The mosquitoes, they got me good. I'm also rearranging like most of my houseplant collection, just putting them in different spots to kind of change up, you know, how things look. Also with all these up pots, things don't fit in their same regular spaces anymore, so I accidentally made this dusting glove, but it's like literally perfect for pinching the plant, so I just put some neem oil either on the glove or on the leaf. Then I'll go through and dust. This is a mixture of neem oil and water. I don't remember the ratio. This poor plant, though, has been needed to be repotted, like I said, when I got it, like 4 or 5 years ago. So I think I'm going to go through and chop off these brown bits and pray that it's not too late. Every time I think it's too late for this plant, it hangs on for, I mean, it doesn't give me new growth, really, but it hangs on. So it's time. I'm so sore. I just have also had I have a hard time finding bigger pots, like I said. I didn't even think that this pot I picked out was gonna be like bigger enough, but I think it'll be, I mean, anything will be better than it has been, so. Oh my gosh, I feel like that was immediately. Hoping there's not active spideys living in this one. I saw some webs. Not spider-mite webs either, I don't think. Okay. So you can see the pot it's in and the pot I'm going to put it in. I'm going to grab its saucer over here. Oh, it's so bare up in that corner now. Ooh. Ooh. White wall. Ooh. Okay. Oh, this new one. Just barely fits. Perfect. Okay. I put. See the webs? You see them? I think they're all abandoned though. I'm telling myself that it's from a spider that was passing by. That is no longer in the vicinity. just gonna dump the rest of the soil in the bottom of this pot. Then we're gonna mix up the rest. I'm a little bit scared to take this one out. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, there's a spider. Spindly fella. Yeah. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Just hang on for a moment and your plant will have a new home. Webs are touching me. Sorry, just hang on a moment, my friend. Don't worry about it. Oh god. You might not be able to get this on. I want to turn it sideways, but I don't want to dump the spotty. Like dump all that dirt on. Alright, let's see here. Okay. Yikes. Ooh. Honestly, not as crazy rooted as I thought. I'm hoping that this repot has been the problem is why it's not growing. But now looking at the, well, we'll see. We'll find out. Sorry, I'm going to fill this one down here. You spooked me. You got me. This is a Milky Way cast iron plant. I love her, but I need to get on my biz about taking care of her, you know? Jeez. I'm trying to think a better spot I could put her to. I usually have her in like a basket, covering up her pot. So she's in a cute little basket, but I think I need to get her in a lower light spot. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna mix up some more salt. I wasn't sure if I was gonna have enough soil, and I don't. Like, I still have a lot of plants to repot after this, but at least for these plants I have plans to repot with you. That looks so sad. I'm gonna chop off those brown bits though. Not that that's gonna make it look any less sad. Well, it might. But it's not gonna make it feel any less sad. But hopefully this bigger pot will. And this nice juicy water it's about to get. I also have to go through and add fertilizer to my plants. Oh, y'all. Who else do we have to repot? Because is it mostly the moss stuff next? We're about out of soil. Whoops, dumped soil everywhere. Good thing my vacuum cleaner's broken. Oh no, I hope I didn't bury that spider. I really tried not to. I'm so sorry, little guy, if I did. If I did, he's not in too deep of a hole. So hopefully he can find his way out. Sorry, guy. I want to get to hide in a leaf though, because water is coming. Build your boat. Excellent. Wow. That's a weight off my shoulders and a weight off this plant's shoulders, I bet. If it's not too late, I don't think it is. I'm going to be rehydrating this sphagnum moss. I have some moss jars to refresh and plant. I love moss jars for, whoopsies. Oh, I mean moss jars, yeah, they're rad. But I also love to have them around for propagating my avocado pits. These ones might be done, so. But I have collected quite a few here if there's some that aren't rotted. Yeah, there's some good ones. That I'm gonna go through and pot up, but first, let's see. I want to get some moss jars started. I also have some like potted moss, some different kinds of moss that I've not grown before that I wanted to try introducing to my jars. Okay, let's start with that. I also, upon further inspection, that huge frog pot does have a drainage hole. So if I have enough moss, I think I'm just gonna pot that anthurium directly into that pot. Just keep an eye on it. I am gonna have to find like a pretty big saucer to go underneath that big old frog pot, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. Just in case I don't get to that with you, because that anthurium does have spider mites, which I just treated it for. So, but I might have some plant care and stuff I want to do before I treat or repot a spider mite plant, so I don't spread. But at this point, we're treating a lot of our plants anyway for them, so maybe it's fine. Alright, rad. I also have, move this here. Let's do this one first. I'm going to put moss around the edges here, so I don't have to like backfill it too much after I get this moss straight down in the bottom. This is spike moss, Crossiana, brownie eye, percussion spike moss. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna try growing it out in this here thing. So you can bring sphagnum moss back to life, and so that's usually what I do for my moss jars. But I saw these mosses and I thought they were so cute, and I wanted to try growing some new mosses because I love moss so much. So yeah. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna need a lot more moss for that frog pot. So I might not be able to fully repot that plant into that pot until I get some more moss. We'll see though. Try and push it up the walls so it has space in the middle, like a little nest. Okay. This is just in soil. I'm just gonna pop the soil in there and we're gonna see how it goes. Fine little baby roots, cuties. Okay. So then, now let's just tuck in that moss root ball. And I think the roots are gonna have a good time moving into this other moss, to be honest. Oops. Well, shoot. I guess I have that moss there. Never mind. Yeah, backfilling is not a good time. Cute. I think that's gonna be so rad, and this sphagnum moss will come to life too and be green and growing beautifully. Oh, I'm excited to see what that does. Now I have this moss jar up here, which has a little bit of a different moss. Look how fun. So fun. Got my moss rehydrated. Going to, again, make a little nest. See, you can see it's a different kind of moss. I'll try and read it to you. Crassuiana aurea gold spike moss. I think she's beautiful. I hope y'all do real good in my care. I hope you like me. I like you. Please like me, but it's okay if you don't. Nest of moss for my new moss friend. A nest of moss for my new moss friend. Making a nest of moss for my moss friend. Nest of moss for my moss friend. I like the moss waddy sound. Squeegee a little bit to get some water introduced, you know. I really don't want to have to backfill this one because I don't want to push any of those things down, you know. Alright, sweet, let's try. Okay. Let's see here. Hold up all your bits. I'm so excited. It's not just a little bit. Okay. There's a fly in here. There's a mosquito. There's a fly. There's one less beetle now, so that's super. Quite a few less spider mites. We're getting somewhere. Look how cute. Okay. I have another moss I was thinking about planting potentially into this purple thing. Or I actually do have a few more jars. So I might plant this in a jar as well, or I might try planting it in here and, you know, kind of let it be an experiment to see which way does best, jar versus this, or see if I can even grow them like this, you know, in the air. My screencaster did just die again, so I think I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. I have a lot more plant care to do. My plants are everywhere. I have a bunch of plants just on the ground right now because I'm caring for them, moving them around, wiping their leaves down, repotting. So I have a lot more plant care to do, but I think I'm going to use that as my little meditative evening activity. Yeah, let me know if you liked this. If you got to the end, leave me a plant emoji in the comments so I know where my real ones are at. Actually though, you don't even have to, if you didn't watch to the end, I mean, you wouldn't see this part, but this was a long video and it was kind of rough. But I needed to update y'all on our president, our Madam President. Needed to give y'all her story.
hope y'all are doing all right. I know a lot of y'all are going through the same stuff I'm going through now, just based on talking to y'all on live. So I'm so sorry about that. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for sending me and my family so much love. I really, truly do think she's the most liked president in all of history. I really do. Based on all y'all's comments. So I'm gonna go turn on my AC because I'm sweating a lot. I'm going to finish up my plant care, get this edited and posted hopefully soon-ish, and I would just love it if y'all let me know if you like the planty content. And I really do want to do more ASMR planty content. This video, I had too much to talk about. I can focus on keeping up the calming, relaxing, whispering piss. It just kind of was what it was. But I do want to incorporate a lot more. I'm really excited once I get all my plants back in their places. And a little bit more pest-free, a little bit more pest-managed. I'm really excited to do an updated plant tour with y'all. I loved filming those videos in the past, and I haven't done an updated one in years. And my plant collection has changed so much. So many plants have just gone huge. Some plants have gone, you know. So yeah, I'm just really excited. So thank you so much for chilling with me today, even though this was a bit of a harder video to watch. And yeah, you take care, okay? Don't forget to set your dream journal by your bedside, drink your water, eat your fruits and vegetables, and do things that are inspiring to you, even if they don't make sense to anyone else. Sometimes if they don't even make sense to you in the moment. You take care. And sweet dreams, Jellybean. I hope they're full of all your favorite things.